Good morning, traders. I hope you guys are ready to get right into the market. We're going to talk a little bit about Peloton, the metaverse. We're going to talk about some deals that are out there. What is going on? Do we find a bounce today? Stay tuned right here on Live Trading with Benzinga. And of course, smash that like. Let's get it started.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas law, that phrase.
Kiana.
Fisher.
Joy.
Joe. Cards drawn are the past, ones to come are future.
And the best part, it's beatable.
All right, traders, how we doing out there? Welcome to the show. Let me know if anything's too loud, if I got the music on turned up too much, or if my volume's not loud enough. Let's go ahead. Let's get into the market. Let's bring on my man, Ryan Faloona. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Happy Monday. We are less than a week away from the big game for Super Bowl.
Yes. Let's keep it going, guys. Smash up that like. Let's go.
I got a question for you. Is there something special about smashing the like? Like if I ask people to gently click it or to just press it like a normal human being, is that bad? Is that worse for the algorithm? Why is everyone so obsessed with smashing and bashing and mashing?
Because smashing is what? It's an action word, right? And so, tapping doesn't really sound like too much action, right? So that's why they use the smashing of it. So it seems like it's a little bit bigger of a thing to do, I mean, you got to feel good though.
Okay. I would say that if you guys want to smash it, that's fine. But any other way that you want to click it, you're welcome to do so.
Let's do it. Let's get into the market. Let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screens here. I'm going to let you guys know first. I mean, we could take an overall look at the market. We can talk about what's going on out there. What do we see? I think to me, really, I think we're getting towards the point with the jobs numbers that we got. We got here jobs added last week was put out 467,000. The increase sent confirmation that investors that the rate hikes are imminent. Of course, we're going to be looking for the March meeting to kind of bring those rate hikes. The question is, are they going to do a 0.25 or are they going to go all the way up to a 0.5? I think they eventually go up to a 0.5, but I don't even think that matters. I think personally right now, and Ryan, I mean, you could say your opinions on this. I think the market is just watching Russia. I think the market is watching Russia because I think that's what really could hurt us. If I think about what could make us come down, let's say 5-10% in one day, I think it would be a war against the Ukraine. And then another thing that could definitely hurt us is if we step in. If we step in, I definitely think the market come down further than 10%. So I think this is where you got to be careful. For me, I think this is why I'm not taking deep investments here. I do like the way that the stock market's giving us some discounts in some stocks. But at the same time, I'm not going to go ahead and when there's that uncertainty of war being put out there, take some investments when it could get crushed. I'll be waiting until we can get around this kind of Russia time, around the Fed March meeting, and then I can start looking in to getting some deeper investments. We'll see what happens. And what do you think about the overall market, Ryan?
Well, so I think that you're spot on in a lot of that. I definitely think that the Ukraine-Russia jitters are affecting the market. I think that goes without saying. I actually think, didn't we take a pretty big leg down the first time we had some major news flow? I feel like there was one of those days. I can't remember what day it was. But in any case, yes, I do think that that's playing a huge role in it. I will say that the Fed is absolutely playing a role in this. And I do not think that the market is ready for a 50 basis point hike in March. So I think that we're expecting 25. I think there's been a lot of talk anywhere between 3 and 7 rate hikes this year. I think we're probably going to finish at 4, and it'll probably all be 25 basis points per. That would be my best guess. I would imagine that if we get news that they're going to go up 50 basis points in March, we'll take another leg down for sure. Will we break some of the recent support that we've put in on the downside? I don't know, but I suspect that we're waiting for that meeting. I mean, I can tell you personally here, like, I'm not looking to put on any new large swing positions. I've dialed my trading back considerably, especially in January being an absolutely horrific month. I dialed back a lot of my trading, and I want some clarity from the Fed, and so too I want that clarity with the Russia-Ukraine situation. So I think all of those come into play. We just got to play the hand that we're dealt. I try to stick to the news flow as best I can. I was just looking here at ON Semiconductors, which is up. They had that robust outlook for the quarters ahead. These people provide chips for cars and automotive, so hopefully maybe that eases some of the supply chain woes. So I'm trying to go with some of that, but I will be reactive to any of bigger headlines, macro headlines like that.
Yeah, we just got to keep on watch, right? How the macro is going to affect us. We'll see what happens in here, and to see if we can keep coming on up. One of the things. Let's go ahead. Let's get into some other macro news. Of course, oil getting there close to 7-year highs. I think oil could get towards past $120 a barrel, especially if we go into war. And Russia gets into that war. Of course, you also heard over the weekend that Russia and China deal in oil. I think that's also going to be helping it out today. Take your look at CVX. You can take a look at Chevron. We've been watching these. I was actually looking to see if they were going to break down on the 3rd and 4th. And this is how you got to be flexible. It's not turning around. And if anything, the story's pointing to higher and higher oil for me. So I was thinking for a second there, maybe OPEC could step in and kind of change the story, but they didn't. They chose to continue the story. And what's going to happen here is, I think with the war talks and people being uncertain about this, I think oil could get as high as $120 a barrel. So if you're looking for that for a trade today, I'd definitely be watching Gush, CVX, MRO. XOM was one that we played on Friday right out the gates, and this one was a beauty, guys. We could have continued playing this one. We'll look for it to break out through 82s today, and that's ExxonMobil. But that's just oil. Let's keep going. Let's get into some of the news today. Peloton reports that Amazon and Nike potential suitors. So we can talk about Peloton here. Peloton up there towards 34. Resistance there, kind of turned around there already once. Tried to get up there towards the 34. Couldn't get up there. So now you're starting to get at least some trend lines that you can start drawing using that line. Always remember, guys, for me, a confirmation on a trend line has to have 3 price points for it to be complete. Right now, it only has 2. So look for a move above 32s to kind of hit that and pull back a little bit. I think if we can hold 30s or slightly below 30s here around, let's say, 29 875s, I think you're looking good on the downside. You are getting the 9 EMA right below it and the 200-day. Look for those to kind of come into play here as you get a pullback and then a push above 32. So Peloton, to me, I think, one of the things is I feel like people consider this stock just a bike stock. And I think that's personally the wrong way to think about Peloton, because I think Peloton necessarily was trying to change the consumer's opinion on personal training at home. If we all remember, I mean, just look around, ask your friends, find out who's a personal trainer and who took some classes or has seen some personal trainers or know somebody that is a personal trainer. I think you're going to see a lot of people. And why? Because there was a time before the pandemic that I feel like personal training was definitely taking off. You were seeing a lot of these kind of boot camp classes. You were seeing all these kind of gyms recommending personal training. And I think that's where Peloton's trying to move to. It's personal training at home. That's what they are. They're a subscription model, and they're not a product. Products are just, to me, the asset behind the experience in Peloton. But hey, that's what I think about Peloton. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, so I actually got some insight for you because in our happy hour show, one of our regulars is a personal trainer, and full disclosure, he absolutely loves Peloton. The one thing that I'm hesitant with these rumors, right? These rumors here about companies being interested in buying it out. This will often pop a stock, and they'll go back and forth. And you know, we might get a news report of someone else that has interest, that may drum up some more interest. I'm normally pretty nervous of these rumors because a lot of the times they fall flat or they're missing some key piece of information. The interesting thing with this one is that I totally understand why this one is a target, because I agree with you, Mitch. I believe that there's a contingent of the market that think it's just a bike story. And there's another contingent that looks like this is a full-on fitness company that's able to do a whole lot of things for people at home. One of the things that I suggested in the happy hour is I wonder if they would go after some type of nutrition or meal company, like a Blue Apron, where you can kind of control, or where you can kind of add like meal plans to your fitness regimen. Everyone knows that proper fitness is going to start in the kitchen. You can't out train a bad diet. So to me, it seems like that would be a logical next step here. And maybe there's, you know, a company, Amazon with its logistics end, able to kind of take on the fitness end and then apply some other type of logistics to expand it. I don't know if that's the case. He didn't seem like he really liked that idea, the guy who's into this. But the one thing that also kind of stands out here is I have not talked to a single person that has used a Peloton that doesn't like the equipment. The only negative that people throw back is, it's got the monthly subscription. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want it. I don't want to pay a monthly subscription for that either. But the actual equipment itself is fantastic. And it's pretty universal across the board. So it seems to me like there are some pieces here that if you're talking about a merger and acquisition, this seems like a reasonable target. Now, I want to be very, very clear. I don't think this is at any point going to go back to its highs, which, what do we have, 170? 170. I don't think it's going back there ever, right? But if we're able to pop back and you know, this does get bought out, I could see this trading back up towards 50 or 60 bucks. We actually have a huge gap here between 85 and 61. So we get anywhere around there, this thing could see some fireworks. As far as this is, I wouldn't actually trade this on the buyout. But again, be wary of that buyout because that could cause movement in both directions.
All right, guys, looking around out there, we'll definitely see what happens in here. To me, I think, you know, this is just a move in connected fitness. To me, I think this is Nike's way, or I even heard Apple being mentioned in rumors of this. So we'll see what happens with Peloton, see if it does get a buyout. Of course, I do think that the brand has established itself. And I think that's why another reason why they're going after it is that if you think Peloton, you get fitness in your mind, right? And so the brand recognition is there. I think if you would have asked, let's say 3 years ago, and you would have just mentioned the word Peloton, not everyone would have thought fitness. Like some people would have been like, is that like, I don't know, what type of company is that? Now I think that answer has been already solved. The brand name is there. We'll see what happens in Peloton. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Let's get into some of the stocks that I'm watching here out the gates. Of course, we got news in Peloton, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Also news out there, of just to kind of focus, Disney, Coca-Cola, Amgen, Take-Two Interactive, and On Semiconductors are all names that are going to be reporting earnings today, Monday, guys. So just keep it on watch. Ryan also mentioned On Semiconductor. Keep that on watch. We'll see what happens there. Basic resources and retail are the top performing sectors in Europe, just to kind of put that in your mentality, right? Inflation's also really high in Europe, and what is up there are basic resources and retail. So maybe look for retail to get a little push. That's an interesting one there. The curve is flattening. The 2-year treasury yield posted its biggest rise since March 2020. So keep your eyes on that. That can give us a sign. Of course, you guys can be watching kind of the TLT to see what happens there. We kind of been sideways here the last 2 days. Let's see what happens. Does the TLT come down on us, come down towards that 136? We'll see there. Let's go ahead. Let's get into some of these stocks that I have potential here. So I'm going to name this one NRG. This one was actually given by Goldman Sachs as one of their top picks of the year. I do like it. It does have a double dividend. I think that's another reason why Goldman Sachs likes it. And we're going to see if it can get back up there through 41. One thing that I would point out is nice sideways action here. If you can get a good breakout above 40, this could start pushing up there towards 42.50. This is NRG, and you're talking about an independent power producer. All right. So another thing that I want to mention, guys, is I'm going to start looking more and more at swing trades and trying to level these out. So I'm not going to do it right now, but I've been working on a little bit more of trying to work a swing trade strategy just for the team, just for us here, and giving us a like certain exacts to look for so that we can start taking some swing trades as a team and looking to see what happens there. It's not necessarily for you guys to copy it, but I want to give you guys the full process. And by giving you guys the full process, we should be able to find some trades, and you guys find some trades also. So another one, FitB. So this is Fifth Third Bank Corp. I'm going to look for this to continue. This is a nice one. Bank stock that could continue breaking out through 48. I could see a pullback below 47 first and then a whip around through 48. So just be careful today. But this is one that I am starting to keep an eye out on. LPro is one that I'll be watching today. If we can get some housing and banking moves on up, this is open lending. Look how much it's pulled back. It's almost pulled back its whole move from the IPO. This one was a SPAC, and it de-SPACed here and then went up there towards 40. The question is, are we starting to find some bottoming action here in the 19s and can push up there towards 20? I'll keep this one on watch today. One that I haven't called to keep on watch on the long side, but you can see some potential volumes really starting to build into this one is PayPal. I think eventually you're going to test this gap, but just be careful. You just closed another gap on the daily from back in this kind of May period. You're talking about May 6th of 2020, around there. So you just filled that. Look how that's going to react today to see if you want to take your shot in PayPal. Last one I want to give here, guys, is let's do Drive. If you guys are looking for a longer-term possibility play, I know that we've been kind of hitting Kathy, but this is not a Kathy play. This is an actual global autonomous electric vehicle ETF that actually been holding sideways throughout this whole kind of period. You come back to levels where you found a bounce around 26. So if there's one that I'm trying to look at, and reason I'm looking at this is because I'm trying to find one that has some growth names that I feel like I like, right? I've gone through Kathy's list, and a lot of times that's just all red, but a lot of this has a lot of green. And I like some of the names that are on here, like Lizar, QS, Velodyne. It has a lot of the LiDAR players, and then it has some bigger players, right? Like Tesla, QCOM. You see Microsoft included in here. Then it has a little bit of some riskier players, right? It has like Plug included in here, NIO, INVZ. These are like kind of cheaper kind of growth names, but I like the mix here. So I will call out this ETF. This is a new ETF that I'm kind of looking at, which is DRIV. So if you haven't checked that one out, check it on out, guys. All right, let's go to Ryan here. Ryan, if you want, you go ahead and share your charts. A last one I'd give is ATI. Keep that one on watch, guys, today. This is a metal manufacturer. And look how this fabrication has just been holding sideways. This shows me strength, and I'll also be watching U.S. Steel. Going to Ryan, what's going on, man? What are you looking at?
Well, one of the stocks I'm looking at here is Tyson Foods. Tyson Foods actually reported earnings before the market opened today. Big beat on earnings here, and we're actually breaking out of this triple or quadruple top formation. So I don't like chasing stock. You guys know me. I don't like chasing stocks. And maybe this is a little too late on the breakout as we've traded up $1 from this breakout. But if you take a look back to August of 2019, and then November of 2019, and then January of 2020, and then January of 2022, we kind of ran up to this $94 resistance point. And on today's earnings print, we've actually busted through it here. So you're talking about swing trading. This might be Tyson is a stock I've traded before. I've had some success actually around the earnings prints, although I was not long or short for this one. I had no position for this print. This stock, you can see this stock is no, oops, clicked the wrong button there. My bad. Chart just reset on me. This stock is no stranger to kind of, moving up fairly predictably over a small time frame, right? So if we get any kind of leg that looks like this or in here, this might be a decent swing trade here. In a perfect setting, I'd actually like this to come back in $1 or so, retest, and then go from there. Unsure if we'll get that. Just something I thought that I might want to watch. And then the other thing is that our team here at Benzinga is going to be interviewing the management team here from Chara today, later on Benzinga TV. So I want to check that out. This is a company I really believe in. I think it's going to be really, really good for the environment as well. So really excited to hear what they say. I think that there's a connotation out there that people think these guys are just dirt movers. And it's so much more than that. I'm looking forward to that story getting out. So I'm going to watch both of those. You already kind of hit some of the other stocks. The one, I love the PayPal call, by the way. PayPal, I think that this is, if we take a look at the daily chart here, I think that this is probably bottomed. I like this to return, and frankly, you get to 140 and we enter that gap. This could be a nice upside trade here. I'd actually take this if we can really start to build. If it looks like we're actually going to cross this and continue to trade up, cross here at 130 on some volume, this might be a nice little swing trade here. So I like PayPal too. I think you mentioned Square. Of course, we're going to watch Tesla. Tesla, remember, really kind of sold off recently. Took back that 900 handle. And we're, still, if I extend this trend out a little bit, we're still kind of beneath that. But I got a suspicion that this gets tested and taken out here. So this trend line's at 975. I wouldn't be shocked if we had a $1,000 test this week on Tesla. So we'll go ahead and watch those as well.
All right, guys, definitely smash that like button. Let's go ahead. Let's get into some more stocks. I'm going to start taking stocks from the chat. So you guys got some stocks. We got about 2 minutes for the bell. Go ahead and throw it on up. I did see solar plays being called out. I would definitely stay away from it right now, just because you've been seeing kind of what downtrend in all these weeks. Look at this. Look at this. And you don't see this often.
No.
This is a weekly candle. This is not a daily candle, guys. So until this trend changes, that's what I'd be watching. One thing that does give you at least an ability is that it is getting into price points like they have multiple layers of support. So you are getting somewhere near those price points where you can look for a dip buy. But to me, I just think solar, you haven't seen anything mentioned about like ESG or kind of the green energy plays being mentioned. I think until you see that, I think try to stay away from these right now. But like always, you can determine if this is back at a level where you feel it could be a shot. I understand why you take a shot here, but at the same time, I see 4 red monthly candles. I need to see 1 harmy or green candle to show me potential reversal.
And, really quick on that, Mitch, just to kind of go along with that, it was recently the stocks that bounced the best were the stocks that were really, really beaten down in recent near term. So I look at that. I look at the daily here for solar, and this thing has done nothing but get sold off since it made its high of 122 or so.
Yep.
Cut in half from those highs here in pretty short order. Even if this doesn't end up being a leader in the future, I think there is probably a bounce in here. So I'd look for that. All right, we're open. Good luck, folks.
All right, guys. Someone called out Burrows in the chat. I'd look for a pullback closer towards 52 with the market kind of finding some support at 50. Longer term, that's where I would look for a pullback buy, but it could take off from these levels. We'll see what happens. Like always, let's get towards the market. You guys hit the like button. It's time, guys. It's time to.
It's time to do.
All right, guys, we'll see what happens in the overall market. I'll be watching to see if we can get some trades that come out of here, out the gates. You know how I like to pay attention out the gates. So technology out the gates. And looks like I'm getting an alert here. That has to be probably my basic material alert there. Let me pull up my alerts here.
Yep, no problem. I'm actually still looking around out there.
All right, there we go. Here we guys have it. I got airlines giving me an alert here, guys. So look for Airbnb, and I'm also going to be looking. I like Airbnb today for the play. That's what I'm looking for, the swing trade here, guys. Looking for a pullback to get into Airbnb. And I like some CCL today. LPro doesn't look bad either. But I'm going to go for right now. I'm looking for Airbnb, just trying to get it in here. All right, traders, I'll talk about kind of the swing trading, kind of how we're going to kind of approach it here. I haven't finished it for us, because one of the things is I'm kind of slightly adjusting it here to be a little bit more kind of take less trades. So what I'm doing is I'm including more indicators to kind of measure before you're getting in. So everything has to kind of match up for us to take the trade, especially in this environment. You got to be careful with swing trades. A, B, and B is one I'm going to be looking for a pullback buy in here. Let's see if I can get a pullback here towards 157 or 156.50 is already pushing a significant amount right here out the gates.
BBIG looks like it is our old friend here trading up out of the open here. I wouldn't necessarily say it's ripping just yet, but it is nice little pop.
Hilton just giving me an alert also, so giving me more and more signs, reopening trade out there.
Careful on Peloton, folks. Remember, earnings this week can go either way. The stuff that's out there is just that. It's just a rumor. Apple looks like it's holding in here now. It's good.
All right, guys, let me know if the music's too loud out there, or if you guys got a stock that's making big moves right out the gates. Looks like CTRM ripping, says David. Definitely take a look at that. BBIG, drip. So that's the reverse of oil. So look for it, baby. It catches a bid there. We'll see what happens.
So CRTM, or excuse me, CTRM looks like it EPS this morning. That's what's driving it here.
All right, guys, going to go ahead and order out here at 157s for Airbnb. Let's see if we get a pullback buy in here. It's at 157.19 on the bid. Want to see if I can get 157 entry, and then we're going to look to swing trade this up. 154 is going to be the risk on the downside. See if we can get this Airbnb fill here, and then I'll start looking for some other trades. This is a smaller sizing because it's more the swing trade. One of the things that I'm trying to focus more and more of, taking swing trades here than day trades. So let's see if I can get this entry here. I need that pullback into 157s. I'll let you guys know if I get a fill. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put up our 3-chart look here. I'll put up my stock on the right-hand side. Got a little bit there. Looking to add here if I could get a fill at 156 here on the pullback. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Tom saying Pete on a pump and dump before earnings, in my opinion. Earnings will be terrible and it can see teens. Tom, that's one of the things I worry about. But one of the other things that we have to note is that if the management team gives any type of color on potential acquisition or merger, that could cause a whole bunch of buying frenzy. I mean, it really depends on what they say. I agree with you on the surface. I'm not a Peloton bull, but with this rumor being floated out there, they might mention something during that report that could cause it to pop. Just something to be aware of, that's all.
All right, guys, we're already up close to a point on Airbnb. Got in there at the 157 pullback right at the VWAP. Looking beautiful. Now we're up there towards 158.06. We're going to let this Airbnb trade work here. And this is going to be a swing trade, guys. Let's go ahead and get this Airbnb work. And I'm going to go back to my alerts to catch what I missed. So Baidu is one that I was watching today out the gates. CTRM still looking strong there. If you want to take a look at that one. In the middle here, I'm going to go ahead and put in Baidu. Baidu looking one that I was going to look to see if it was going to be strong today. It has a daily chart that I think is important to note here. Look how you've been fighting to get above this 160. If you can get back up there, I think you can get to 165. So look for this to get strong. Nice daily pullback right now to 155. Could just get strong here. So I'm going to keep a close eye on this one here. And that's Baidu here for a red to green move. Let's see what happens.
All right, and I'm also long while you were doing that. Long PayPal here. I'm going to play
my man taking the shot.
Yep, I'm going to play this via the March 140 call. So I'm in small. I'm going to scale in. In an ideal world, I'd like this to kind of show some strength and allow me to kind of scale into this position. We'll see where it goes, but starter here today on PayPal. Definitely like the action out of the gate here. Definitely like the action out of the gate.
All right, time to put up my trades here. NRG coming down there. Tesla just put a big candle above the VWAP. Gonna keep an eye on that one. Airbnb now up there towards 158.60s, hit even 159. So let's just let that work. Ford ripping, guys. So if you want to take a look at that one, I'd keep an eye out on that one. Also, one that made a good move was BGFV. So look for maybe some retail to come into play. Ford, I would look for a pullback here towards 17.85 for the VWAP bounce trade. We'll see what happens in that Ford. ATI, this one that I wanted to take a look at.
Yeah. There's some supply chain disruption news on Ford, but still like this long. Interesting to see it pop here out of the gate.
Baidu pushing here, looking strong. I kind of like that play, but I don't want to take that one because it's going to start taking up a lot of my kind of account there on the swing trade. But Baidu does look good there. I just have to get a smaller share size. X coming down significantly, so look for ATI also crack down on the downside there. I'd be looking for that one to break. Let's see what other trades out there.
One thing to keep an eye on, Mitch, is, Bitcoin really had a great weekend. It's actually popping here out of the open. 43, it looks like it popped above briefly. That's going to cause Riot and Mara to move around if that connection is still in there. Yeah, in fact, both of these are trading up here. So I, of course, don't like these. We've talked about it quite a bit. I'm not in them, but if this is something that you're into, worth watching, it is definitely moving on the Bitcoin trading up. No chill in PayPal. Look at PayPal.
All right, guys, up almost a point already on that Airbnb. That's looking great for us, guys. It's a smaller share size because, I'm going for the swing trade here, but it's already working really well for us. So we're going to just let that work there. We got it. I actually got, remember when I put the 157, I got an average cost fill of 156.86. So we're looking really good in that Airbnb. We'll just let that one continue working here. Tesla looking strong also. Let's go back to our main chart here just to take a look at the sectors. I want to take a look at what's moving up and what's moving down. So if we look here, consumer cyclical leading our way right now. So gambling play, I definitely started taking a look at DKNG for the Super Bowl push. It probably already did it. Yeah, you asshole. You asshole, DKNG. It's already ripping. Did the VWAP bounce trade. I would have grabbed that bad boy right at VWAP. Penn also at VWAP bounce. That's what I'd call out. Look for GAN maybe. But I got a little bit of a laggard play in GAN. Yeah, a little bit of a lag play in there. Maybe RSI. I'm looking for some lagging play here. There you go. RSI might be actually one here that's lagging pretty significant. The problem with RSI, it doesn't have volume here. Very small volume traded there. So DKNG is definitely the one I'd point out. It got back above the 2210. I'm going to look for a pullback back there towards 2220s. If I could get that pullback, I definitely will be keeping an eye out. I'll even put a circle in that area to see if we can get back into there. But DKNG, I do like it for the Super Bowl push this weekend. We'll see what happens. Leisure doing well today also, guys. So take a look at that. You guys can watch. That's being led by Peloton, but look at the cruise lines today. NCLH up 5%. CCL is probably ripping. I'm going to be so upset. Oh, good Lord. Good Lord. I wanted to swing trade CCL. I don't have enough money to buy all this stuff, guys. I need some Kathy Wood type of money.
That, honestly, it sounded like your best Chewbacca impression right there. Very brief.
Let's go, guys.
Oh, man,
looks like the
good.
reopening trade is on today, guys. I need some more money, man. Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper!
I need some money. Yeah, no, I like that CCL trade. I mean, I went with Airbnb, but I'm looking for this one also. Let's look at some airlines. AAL. Look how they're pushing, guys. I think the reopening trade's on. I think we're on it right now, and I think this is your time. ULCC, of course, got that deal today. Let's see how that's performing on up there. Also, Save, you guys can keep an eye out. And I also like, Love is probably one of the best airlines right now. Look how that one's pushing on up there through 45s. Definitely for me, reopening trade is what you should be probably looking around. Shannon, I know you got that cruise line. hold that bad boy. Looking good there. Like always, Shannon, do your own risk assessment. But to me, I think you just got what you were looking for, which is a nice pop there in CCL.
And kudos to you, Mitch, because you've been talking about this reopening trade for several weeks now. This is not a flash in the pan thing for you. You've been stalking this. So nice to see it work out here.
Yeah, you know, one of the things is I think you just can't. I like to look at the COVID numbers and compare it to last month, because a lot of that is what to me the media does. And so COVID was really bad in January, right? We had, I mean, you can just look around. How many of your coworkers called out in January because of COVID, right? And so you can look around at that. And to me, I think you're going to start seeing the opposite effect happen, where you see not many people calling out for COVID because they already got it. And so they're not getting it again. And so this is why I feel like you're going to get that reopening trade.
Yeah, makes sense. So I think there's just general COVID exhaustion that is kind of sweeping its way through the population. So
the bros is ripping.
Good time.
Looks like the caffeine is moving, baby. Looks like I missed the bros on the buy on the daily back at our re-entry. We got in original at this at 44.30s. Eventually ended up selling up there to 60. We could have taken the same trade. Literally the same trade on bros, and we could have literally nailed the same trade here on bros. Starbucks is one that I'd be watching to see what happens. I think this is just out of favor, and why you're also seeing bros move on up.
You know, to me on bros, the back test of that 55, 56 area, that was it. That was your entry trigger right there. When it held that on the way back down and bounced off that was entry there. I'm late now. I'm not going to chase this, but this was a decent one.
Hilton doing well. We'll look for a pullback in that. I might take a swing trade in Hilton just because I also like the volatility of Hilton. It's not very volatile name and can just kind of slowly stair step its way up. Marriott looking good here also. You could take a look at that one. And then if you wanted, you could take a look at some of their kind of some of their longer term plays. I forgot what it is. Marriott is they got some longer term plays here also that you can compare to Airbnb. I can't remember right now, but that's just how it is sometimes. All right, guys, going to go ahead and keep a watch out on these reopening trades. Airbnb still working well for me. Got up there almost towards 160. I'm just going to leave that one be. Let's try to find another trade out there. Looks like consumer cyclical really doing well today. Energy starting to lead, though. Technology starting to lead here. Solar. Someone called Solar, right? First Solar. Let's see how it's doing today. Looks like we're down on that name, but you do have some other ones that are popping up. Beam and SPI. Those are kind of lower float trades, so those will kind of react quicker. Sol pushing on up there too. ENPH you guys can watch, but personally I just don't like these too much, but they are having momentum today. All right, what's going on out there in the chat? Trying to catch up with you guys out there and find some plays. Ron talking about net. I know Ron's usually on point, so let's take a look. Net looking beautiful.
Ron has absolutely been on point. Ron has been hitting these movers out of the open too. This is a pattern that Ron has been exhibiting. Good stuff, my man.
Nice run there, guys. This one just keeps running right now. It has pushed on up from about 104 to 112. That's a beautiful move there, up 9% there today. Net, good move there. Some that I was watching, look at these kind of dogs are moving today. DM moving up about 8% right out the gate. So you got some dogs definitely that are moving out there. All right, Monday out there.
Monday.
I mean, there's a lot.
Money Mitch.
There's a lot out there, guys. Even fun up 16%, so you guys can watch that one. See if it gets back through 3. That's the price point to watch on that one. You're getting a little bit of a pullback here. I kind of like this pullback as long as it holds 280s on the downside, comes back up through 3. If you're looking at the funware there, so you guys can take a look at that one. I'm sure there's some people keeping an eye out on the fun. All right, Palantir, RIP. Yeah, they're kind of small rips. I would be careful with stocks that I don't trust to keep on the upside. Maybe selling into the move, but like always, you're determinant there. HUT up about 11%, so if you wanted to watch that one, maybe keep an eye out on that one. Ryan brought up the Bitcoin moves that potentially could come because of the Bitcoin moving on up there. I personally just don't like the cryptocurrency market right now, so I'm staying away from the stocks or the market. All right, let's go ahead. Let me go towards banks. How the banks doing? They're suffering today? Yeah, they're suffering. Healthcare up 0.5%. So look at that PFE. I was looking to see if it was finally going to get positive, but it just doesn't want to hold on. You guys see, I had this swing trade drawn out. I haven't taken the trade, but it definitely is not holding on there. It should have come back up there towards the 55. The price action, I'm not liking it there.
You know, Mitch, I'm going over the I was going over some of the analyst ratings from this morning.
Let's do it.
And yeah, let's do this real quick. So I don't know if you folks, we've never really done this on the show before. I don't know if you folks use this, but if you do, this could be a little tip for you. This is the calendar tool with analyst ratings selected in Benzinga Pro, and I have it paired obviously with the details tool on the chart for obvious reasons. I've just flipped over here. I normally have this filtered to only have positive ratings. So you can see here in the ratings column, I filtered this to only show me the positives. I like to start with those, and then we'll move to the negatives and see what's going on there. One of the things I noticed is that there are several stocks in here that fit along with your reopening theme trade that we're seeing. All right. So first of all, we talked about CCL already. Royal Caribbean was in here. It's up 4% today. It had a buy rating, maintain a buy rating on Stiefel. Now the price target was lowered, but they're still maintaining their buy rating. I also noticed there were a couple of others on here, Disney, Expedia. So this is going to be one of your travel groups here. This also was a market outperform and a price target raise from Cohen. So that was interesting to me. I noticed that Lyft was on here from Credit Suisse, also with an outperform and a raise on the price target. And I think there was one more in here that I'm unable to find right now. CBOE. I'm probably missing it. Anyway, the point here was that there were a couple here, and that kind of stood out because we had talked about that recently. So this might be something that you want to take a look at, right? You might want to go in here and see if there are any type of analyst ratings that kind of support one of your thesis in here. Another one that's worth mentioning, it's unrelated to the reopening trade, but Snow. Remember, some of these stocks that were really, really beaten down, we had just told you, some of the stocks that were really beaten down ended up bouncing the hardest. Snow in those. So we had an upgrade to overweight from Morgan Stanley and a price target raised from 344 to 390. Pretty big price target raise there. So just some interesting things here in the analyst ratings. These are just from today, right? So to me, this is interesting. We'll keep a watch on these. I think that what stands out the most is your reopening trade. I think that you're on to something here, my friend.
Yeah, I'm watching right now. I'm trying to look around to see which ones are lagging and which ones are moving, right? And so Trivago is one that I'm looking at right now. That's TRVG. I'll get into those stocks there, but I liked how you went into there. And one thing that you saw was like you can take a look at like maybe booking BKNG to see if it's kind of making a move, and you can see that moving on up there. You could also look at Expedia, that's XPE. And look how Expedia is moving on up today also. So that's why I'm calling out TRVG here for potential swing trade to get back above, let's say, the 230s. What I like about this one is you're talking about a cheap stock here. You don't have to put that much in to take this shot. You just got to manage the risk on the downside. And I think you do have a level to go off of. You kind of got this bottom trend on the bottom of this that keeps holding around the 210s. So you got the 210s to risk off of, and you're looking for a push back on up. This one could come back to, let's say, even $3 in the long run if you do think the reopening trade is on. All right, that A, B, and B, I was even thinking about potentially adding because we didn't get another trade. But look how this is holding really well on the 5-minute. Now pushed on up through there. I'm holding in this Airbnb, guys. Baidu alert, Baidu. I talked about how I really liked Baidu today. Let's take a look at Baidu, how we're trading here. Looks like we just pushed on up there. 160, I talked about how it could potentially be a breakout spot. Look how you got the volume to come in there. I'm going to look for this one to pull back to 158 now to try to get in for a push towards 160. But if you look at the daily chart, now it's starting to look strong here. This Baidu alerting me here. So definitely, I think keep an eye on this one. Above 160s, I do like the look. All right,
Looks like
catching
all of the
the
cannabis
chat.
stocks are moving. I saw Aaron Bryan was saying CGC was one of his top swings for this week. Good timing here. It looks like a lot of the cannabis stocks are moving. Wasn't there some chatter about more legalization stuff? Just a matter of when, not if. Like it's going to happen. Just the question is when. That might be why these stocks are trading up. I wish I had that note here in front of me, but I don't.
Jay says TRVG is a dog. Yeah, that's why I'm calling it out, Jay. Dogs can move, man. Dogs can get barking. When the dogs go barking, the dogs go barking. You know how you know the dogs are barking? You look at Ride. I don't have to guess. I don't have to guess. I just know. The trash moves with the Ride. Your Ride should just do like dump trucks.
They should just do dump trucks. It's a good way for the stock to find support at 0.
RSI being talked about by Hex. Off exchange order going through in pre-market. It went up there towards 18-16.
Hope can move, baby. Oh, the Seinfeld reference is strong with this group. I love it.
Yeah, that's what it should be, man. That should it be. All right, let's go ahead. Let me look at my DKNG. Am I getting a chance to dip buy into this? No, it didn't come back towards my entry area, which was 2220s. I need to see a little bit of a downtrend there. But DKNG, I do like it today. It's just holding well there. We'll see what happens in that one. Penn, let me take a look there. Not the worst there. Bumble, I know, made an acquisition, so you can take a look at Bumble, see if that's doing well today. Also, I did see Match being mentioned on Goldman Sachs kind of stocks to watch. So you guys can see if this one continues the strength that we saw on the earnings. So I'll kind of draw the trend there. Looking for it to get back above 118s. If it gets in that area, it will be looking interesting. So we'll go ahead and send an alert there at 118.20s and to alert us on Match.
There are a couple of people in the chat asking about Affirmed. I'm not a fan of this stock at all, but let's try to take an objective view here from the chart. Looking at me, we definitely held the 47.20 area. We bounced off that pretty ferociously. We actually made a higher low right around 56-ish. The next spot here for me is going to be 69 to 70. Let's call it 69.50. If we can actually take this out, maybe we can make a move back towards the 90 handle, which is where the 200-day and the 50-day are converging right now. Again, I'm not a believer in this stock. I actually think this stock could get cut in half going forward here. But just kind of going with what we were just talking about, the stocks that really traded up that got beaten down so ferociously, those are the ones that even if they do continue their downward trend, there's going to be a bounce in there, and that bounce is going to be ferocious. And I mean, just looking at this downward slope here, if we're basically just going to kind of eyeball a trend line in here, we're now on a break of that trend if we close above this line today. So Affirmed is interesting to watch here. If this, I have no position in it, I don't like it. If this were me, I'd be playing short term. We are up 8% today, so I would wait for a little bit of a back test instead of chasing this.
All right, guys, I did miss one pre-market. I don't know how we missed it on pre-market prep, but Tyson Food completely obliterating earnings.
That's why I tried to talk about it.
Obliterating earnings there. I finally was able to look into the report. I saw you mentioned it earlier, Ryan, but I was actually finally able to look at the report there for a second. And yeah, definitely. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. And it's holding well right now, the pattern. I think this is actually causing a lot of these stocks in this area to kind of make moves. One that I'd take a look at is App Harvest. App Harvest kind of finding a bottom there around $3. Not a bad one to maybe take a swing trade potential investment. That's vertical growing, right? In the long run, I do think that that's going to be into play there. But that's just one that I'd call out to keep an eye out on. Let's see high capitalization here. What is in our farm products that is moving on up today? these stocks are a little bit harder to kind of know. So I'm trying to look for stocks that you would probably kind of find out or kind of know.
Real quick, just to comment.
Go ahead.
Easy Mike saying Tyson, Hormel, Mondelez can all pass prices on to consumers. That's exactly right, Easy Mike.
Inflation, baby.
In fact, if you actually go through the press release for Tyson Foods on their earnings, I think they say that, right? I got to a spot in there before we started here. It was basically saying that one of the reasons these things were up is because of the inflationary pressures. That would have been on chicken.
Fun alert, guys. Fun alert. Remember I talked about it, hold 280s, get back up through threes. Now it's on up there towards the threes. I'm going to look for a pullback here towards $3, a quick pullback. And I might get in here on the pullback for the breakout above 315. Measure the flag. For me, I think you got to always measure this flag. 38 cents on the breakout. So looking for the kind of, if you draw the trend line, that's where the breakout spot should be around, let's say right around this 305. So I'm going to go ahead and if it's 38 cents, I'll round that up to about 40 from that 305. So about 345 is where I'd be looking for profit take on this move. Why? Just measuring the flag and measuring the move and looking for the extension above. Let's keep it going. Let's go.
Yeah, Tyson's still looking strong out of the gate.
Yeah, a lot of stocks look strong at the gate. So let's just be honest. To me, I think the SPY is gonna be pushing on up there. We're pushed on up there towards 450 30s. We're gonna see if it closes up there. I think today is one of those days that you might get that bullish kind of push towards 453. But that's the level that I really need to see on the upside for it to break out through, for us to get that big move in the SPY up there to 470. If not, I could see us getting back into the chop.
I like Easy Mike Wingstop into the Super Bowl. Easy Mike, I know this is anecdotal. I'm actually going to be doing homemade wings in the air fryer for the Super Bowl, but I'm not going to get them from Wingstop. I'm, of course, going to buy the organic wings from Costco and then season them up myself. But I like the thesis. I'm doing exactly what your thesis says. I'm just not ordering from Wingstop.
All right, looking for DKNG to pull back here, man. It just won't pull back for me to get in. I'll keep watching it, though. Unity being mentioned in the chat. That's not a bad one to look at. Unity. What was the one you just mentioned, Ron?
Penn, because you were talking about DKNG, so I was just wondering where Penn was in relation to that.
Close my eyes and say up.
Yep.
Oh, man. Sometimes
percentage is DKNG too. Interesting.
I mean, it's hard sometimes to get all the stocks that you're looking at. That's the truth, right? I mean, I don't know how some traders do it out there. They have like 150 positions. I definitely probably have to not be streaming live to have that many positions. But as you guys see, Penn still pushing well there. I think these were definitely kind of Super Bowl plays, and you're seeing them kind of react there. Another one that I'd take a look at is Bally. That's one that I like, but I mean, you could just keep a watch on all the kind of gambling plays to kind of make moves. Resorts and casinos, also that same kind of play. If you wanted to look at that one, like MGM, BYD, Caesars, look at these. They're all up. I think the reopening trade's on, man. Bullish on the air fries. I agree.
Yeah, see, I was just going to say, Hex
I got you.
Bullish on the air fryers. Berlin saying, Ryan, I have a seasoning mix that's proprietary. It'll blow your mind. I will mail you some to Benzinga. Berlin, let's just cut Benzinga office out. You can mail that directly to my house. Let's connect. I will absolutely try this. I will say this, though. I'm super bullish on air fryers, too. I've been using it a lot. Roy says, air fryers, us big boys don't need anything more fried. You are the target market for the air fryer because you don't actually fry stuff. You use 90-some% less oil in everything that you make. And I'll be honest with you, the French fries out of the air fryer, I think, are better than deep fried. And it's just personal preference. They are awesome. Super bullish on air fryers, but there's no way for us to trade it. I wish we could trade air fryers. I wish we could trade like an air fryer ETF or something like that, because I think those are definitely going to continue to make appearances in kitchens across the country. They're really, really convenient. Beautiful,
beautiful trade. I was looking forward a move to 1780 after that push above 18. And where does it go to? 1779. God danger. missed that little VWAP bounce there. It was a beautiful. What I like is when it recovers VWAP and then you see a sideways action off that VWAP. That was perfect. You could have gone and attacked that 18 breakout, and now it's looking good there in forward. FSR is another one I'd keep on watch for a nice push. GM also, look for that kind of push on up there. It's not looking too bad. Let's take a look here. How's the AMC? Even that can't do good in a day like today. I mean, just get rid of it, guys. BKNG, their booking still doing well. I think you're going to start seeing some pullback. We're getting towards that pullback time, guys. 10 o'clock. Reversals could come into play, so just be careful out there. I'm still holding Airbnb. That's the only trade I've taken today. I'm just going to keep letting that work. I'm looking for another one to get into as a swing, but we'll see if we happen and if we can get those swing trades. CCL keeps pushing. I know, Chirmo. Don't make me jealous, man.
Chirmo out here getting your back. Come on.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame them. If they're able to nail it, then they're able to nail it. Looking for the pullback here to get into it. I expect kind of a little bit of a pullback in here. So I'm going to look here on the 15-minute. Look for pullbacks into the 9 EMA on DraftKings up there towards around 2230s, 2220s. That's the area that I'm looking for a potential buy spot. We'll see if we're able to get that spot and get the stock to come down here. Pull back slightly below VWAP, then take out the highs on the long run. All right, guys, we're going to be here
for American Airlines, AAL.
Perfect. I'll take a look at that, Ivan. We've been talking about the airlines have been doing well. We'll keep a look on it, of course, after the save earnings today. But like always, guys, do me the favor, guys. Let's take a second here. Let's hit the like. Let's keep it going, guys. Like on up. Smash that like for me. We're going to be getting on out of here at 10:30. But if you guys want to go ahead and continue with us, one thing that I'm doing is I'm opening in our Discord a live chat room for us to continue trading in there all day, every day, guys. So just keep smashing the like button, and we're going to keep growing here as a community. The way you guys want is build a community out there that's working on process. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get back into the stocks. We're starting to see a little bit of a pullback out there. If you guys got a stock that you guys want to maybe look at on the pullback, like pullback opportunity, let me know in the chat. All right, guys, AAL pulling on back here. I'd look for pullbacks to 1690s or 1685s. Look for that entry. That's off the 15-minute. What I'd be using is a trend line here to look for, okay, you get a breakout above, look for the hold on the pullback, and then a push right back above the 1720s. That's AAL. One of my favorites, UAL. You could also take a look at the similar move, right? And so you see a breakout above the trend line. Look for a move back into the area right here, and then that's your buy spot. So let's see what happens there. LUV, Southwest. It's kind of holding a little bit. This one's not pushing as much. That's interesting that Southwest isn't pushing as much here. I'd be taking a look at that one to see if it's going to catch some volume there. But you can take a look at this trend line. This would be a 1-hour flag. And then it has to hold the bottom of this trend here. You want to see it kind of just come back up through 45s. It could test down here towards 4450s, but you want to see it back above 4475 up there through the 45s.
Do you have a link to that Discord? Looks like there are a lot of people in the chat looking for that, Mitch.
I got you guys. I'll bring you the Discord link in a second. I was going to open that channel. That channel hasn't been completely set just because I want to kind of get some kind of setting up on Discord for it. But I will throw up our Discord in the chat here so that you guys can at least be already in the Discord and look for that channel to open up today sometime. And then, of course, I'll invite us into that tomorrow so that you guys could get right into the channel. But at least you guys could get into the Discord right now. I'm opening it up to give you guys the link.
And I believe we're talking about the same Discord, Mitch.
Yes, we are.
So there's already a happy hour watch list channel in there that we occasionally post the watch lists to. So keep an eye out for that. Shout out to the happy hour crew for all of their hard work.
All right, guys, I'm going to throw up the link here, guys. Here it is in the chat here for the Discord. If you guys want to join it, go ahead and join it on up there. You guys will see what? Moderators Nightfall? Moderators Mitch Story Investor? I think I know those guys.
Yep. Jerry, Aaron, yep, we good.
There is a day trading channel. The only problem is Aaron Bryan, is that I'm not the biggest fan of that one right now, because I did see like some kind of other things. So I'm going to be more of controlled on that other channel, be moderating it throughout the day. So that's
Aren't
what
we
I
doing
really
like
want.
a live trading channel dedicated to this show that we should?
Yes,
Yeah, forward over.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
look
we're
for
going
the
to
new
do.
channel.
Not
Yeah.
with everybody. We want to specifically this community, you guys out there that are watching us right now. All right, guys, starting to see that there's pullbacks out there. I'm starting to look for some buying opportunities. Looking for some pullbacks into here. Looking at the SPY here, starting to pull back, hold VWAP. Looks like it wants to continue on the upside move. I'm just trying to find some trades that are pulling back enough for me to get in here. RCL still hasn't pulled back enough there for me. NCLH, not enough there. AAL still looking strong. We're looking for these to pull back. But, I mean, we got to first see the pullback. EMPH is one if I wanted to do a long on EMPH, the solar name, but I'm not bullish on this industry. So I'm not going to go and take this swing trade. This is what determines me more of my real style, guys, my bread and butter, which is story, fundamentals, and technicals matching up. To me, the story is changing in the airlines and COVID. The fundamentals point towards the upside because at the end of the day, let's just be honest. If they can get more people into the seats, or let's say more ships to go out full, then of course their earnings are going to start looking better on the fundamentals side. And I mean, they've just been as bad as they could possibly be on the debt side. So if that starts changing over because they're able to start making some money, that's what I'd pay attention. Technically, we've been seeing these be oversold and they're right off support. So that's why I'm looking for the reopening trade. And that's why I wouldn't look at EMPH, because we talked about it, how the whole industry has been getting destroyed. And I don't want to jump into an industry that's getting destroyed right now.
Did you
Pen
want to
pulling
take a look
back.
at Netflix real quick? Or
Yeah, Netflix sounds like an interesting one to
yeah,
watch.
let me just give you you can pull it up here on the, go to the daily chart here real quick. I'll give you my thoughts. I'd like to hear what you think about that. This is Ashton Tam is asking about Netflix. So remember, Netflix, we had the huge sell-off from earnings, and we had news that Ackman took a stake. That really kind of caused it to enter the gap there that Mitch has highlighted with that white box. Now it's trading back down. It's actually beneath the bottom of the gap. So here's the way that I'm looking at this for a trade. I have no position right now. We did call this actually live the day that this busted through 409. We called it live here on the show, and that where did it go up to? 455, 460 almost. All right, so that was a winner. But now, if we can hold right around this area, so let's say trade against 400. If we can hold 400 and this thing starts to move back to the upside, I think we might have another swing opportunity there in that. These gaps like to get filled, and I think if you make another upside move, you will take attempt number 2 at filling that gap. So something to think about. Which I'd be curious to know what your thought is on that. I mean, I'm not racing out trying to buy it here, but it seems like a pretty decent spot here. So long as we can hold 400. I think if we don't hold 400, we're probably going to retest that 350.
Personally, I'd like to stay away from Netflix right now just because I think Disney's numbers coming out could affect Netflix on the downside. So I'll stay away from Netflix. I've been seeing too many earnings reports affecting stocks way too much. DraftKings looked perfect there, at least on the 5 minutes. So I'm looking for the pullback towards 2240s here. I don't want to go overextending and trying to get 2270s here, even though I like this name today. Was watching for it out the gates, but I mean, right now it's looking like it's already holding the pattern. We'll see if it breaks this 5-minute pattern, comes and turns into a 15-minute pattern, and then we can catch it. So 15-minute still has it right now stuck in between here. I'm looking for a pullback towards the VWAP, towards 2240s, 2230s to get in on this one. We'll see if we can catch this. Pen still holding well there also. We'll see what happens there. Definitely consumer cyclical. Kind of the area where I'm watching. Definitely there's some good trades to be made there. Burroughs pulled back towards VWAP, also pushed back. Green Power, you got Express moving on up significantly, guys. If you want to take a look at this apparel company, this one moves with Wall Street Bets also looking strong today. Express. When the dogs go barking, ride moves. Bark. Bark, bark. All right, guys, looking around out there to see what kind of plays are moving out there. Looks like Fubo up 3.6%. They did get some volume right there on that last 1 minute candle. Keep an eye out on that one. Could have a nice VWAP bounce trade there. We'll see what happens there. Has tried to push back on up here before. Has support around it at 1040s. We'll look for a little tick down there towards 1040 and a recovery of VWAP back above 1060s. All right, what's going on out there, guys? Do you see a lot of mentions in the chat? What's up out there?
Market pulling real quick.
SHIB going parabolic. I don't know about that one. You got to let me know. EXPR ripping. Expecting a rocky March, says Easy. Can't blame you for that. Bros, lockup period coming. It's not a bad thing necessarily. It's not always a bad thing. It depends on the company. If I owned shares of Bros early on, would I be selling? No, I don't think I would be selling. But I mean, that's all to the investors to determine. But to me, I think Bros looks like a company that could easily become a Starbucks in the next 5 to 10 years. If it becomes a Starbucks, I mean, dude, you're missing out if you sell out now.
Indeed.
There's
SHIB up
Fubo testing down.
38%, according to Coinbase here.
Oh,
So,
there's a big dip here, guys. I don't know what happened in the SPY. If you could take a look, see if we got news.
market pulling.
Looking for a dip buy here in DraftKings. Remember, I talked about it. Looking for 2230s here to show up. Yeah, SPY dripped hard there, man. See if we got anything on the pro there. It seems like there's like some news, but it could just be a reversal.
Nothing tagged for SPY yet.
Okay, that's good to know at least.
I think it's just a market pull here, honestly.
It's a quick pull, I'll tell you that much. All right, guys, looking to get a starter here on DraftKings. Starter on 37s.
Facebook's getting crushed. Square's pulling in.
Not what I wanted to see, really, but I'm looking to see if we can catch the bottom and at least catch the dip there at 448. Don't want to see that break through.
Yeah, Buffalo, I'm with you. Nothing makes me happier than that, too. I'm not a Facebook fan at all.
Yeah, we could talk a little bit about metaverse. I was actually talking about a friend, talking about it with a friend that he was looking at maybe should I buy some crypto? Should I buy NFTs? What do you think about metaverse? So we kind of talked about it. I'll get into a little bit of that conversation once the market slows down here a little bit. We got about 15 minutes left, so we'll see what happens here. I am taking a little bit of a dip buy here in DraftKings, looking for it to come down towards 2220s. That's where I'm going to add here. It's back up there towards the 30s. I did get my first entry there at 2237, but that's only a fourth of my sizing there. So I'm looking to size into this name here near the 20s here. Remember, I had that 2230, 2220 area. Then we can risk down towards the low of the day today. Look for a swing trade back up.
VIX did pop too on that sell-off, so it's
interesting.
Still, it's positive, but not much. Only 30 cents.
Yeah, I think you could be looking at a chance in those consumer cyclicals that pulled back, like let's say airlines. You could be taking a look at them right now. Let me see here what I got on airlines here. Industrials here, moving on up there, back towards VWAP there. So for me on AAL, around 1685s is the area that I'd be looking for right now. Let's look at CCL. CCL needs to come back a significant amount for me. So I'm looking for CCL to come back into the area that we pushed off of this level here. So go back towards the hourly. All right, so hourly, I would look for more a move below 2050, around the 2040s to risk off of 20s for a swing trade on CCL. Mercado Libre being called out by John Doe. Mercado Libre. You know what that stands for, right, Ryan?
I don't actually.
That stands for free market, man. Free market. Mercado Libre. Free market.
Okay.
So what they tried to do is they tried to just steal Amazon's, hoorah. Right? Can't blame them for it.
Yeah, I mean, Amazon's been super successful. I can't blame them for it too. You know, what's interesting here is this is $1,000 stock down from 2,000. This has already been cut in half from the highs that we put in January of last year. Down 100, down on 50% in a year. Wow.
Big support underneath it too. If you look here, you're going to start seeing some plays where it kind of caught right here. You see these multiple holds, all around that same level, around 973.22s, or if you wanted to bring it down towards, let's say, even 966 to kind of be a little bit safer. I think that's where you look for support to hold. And you could be taking a swing trade on this. Just always understand that when you're taking a swing trade on a stock that's $1,000, you might want to be looking at putting in your entries, even maybe one share at a time, to try to better your average than just taking a swing. Oh, I'm going to take 10 shares of this right now. Well, you could have put those leveled in, right? And look to get in and try to average into the trade versus trying to just get a trade like this. Whenever I see a stock that's over $200, I'd be really careful on how I size into the position, because it can help you if you're smart with that and think that I'm not going to just put all that sizing in one trade. I'm going to look to level it in there. And if I get, let's say, 5 of the 10 shares that I wanted to fill, I'll still be happy because I leveled it in and I get that instant gratification when it comes up. All right, guys, just added there on DKNG. Let's hold towards the low of the day. I'm going to show you guys the DKNG trade right now, right? So we just took some right there in that spot where we wanted to. So I'm going to draw this out here on the 1 minute candle so you guys can see this. All right, and then we just took some right now at 22.20. So now our average is 22.29, and we're going to hold towards the low of the day, which is down towards 21.80s. All right, so we're looking for a risk about here 30, 50 cents, and we're going to make a trade here on the hourly. We're looking for a push back above this high here, and we're going to look for a move towards 24. 24 is going to be our profit target there. Taking the swing trade on the DraftKings. All right, what's going on out there, guys? We're getting towards that time. We got only about 10 minutes left here, guys. I need you guys to do me the favor. If you guys have been enjoying the day, hit that like button, and let's keep it going, guys.
Definitely kind of a head fake out of the gate here so far anyway. I mean, it sure was for me. Look at this PayPal trade. This thing has gone completely against me. Real quick, though, this is exactly why we scale into these plays instead of going in too fast or too aggressively. Remember, I bought this on the strength up after it kind of looked like it was going to hold. Was positive pretty nicely for a little bit, but really kind of turned it around here. Now, I'm not going to panic and get rid of this yet. This is definitely some of the volatility that we've seen here. It's important to not go too big when you're going into options. So I'm going to hang on to these and swing these for the rest of the week. They are the March calls. I got 39 days till these expire. I'm not in any rush just because the position went red. Just something to kind of keep an eye on here. One of the things when this happens, I look at the general market, I see everything pulling back here, right? So don't want to make a knee-jerk reaction to a choppy market. Exactly. KFMFE. Well, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Market's so choppy this morning. You're absolutely right. Jonathan, I did 140 calls.
All right, going to look for one more dip in AAL to take another swing trade here. Let's go for the swing trade day here. Taking some shots today for us. So remember, we drew this out. We talked about it. Could AAL pull back into that trend line, and then we'd get that buy, right? So we were looking for a move into the 80s. We got to the 87. We see 2 ticks down there. You see 88 87. I'm looking for a move right back down towards, let's say, 89, and then back up through 17. That's where I would be looking to get long, somewhere between 1690 and 17. Looking for the push above the high of the day today, which is 715. This would be a smaller type of trade and try to let it work. Of course, with the airlines, they're not going to give you the massive return, but I'd be looking for a kind of trade that could just level on up and work. What's going on out there, guys? Definitely smash the like button. David said you're in DraftKings with me. Hey, we'll see what happens in that one. All right, going to go ahead and put up here the multiple charts here so we can keep an eye out on it. Look at this NRG, man. What a reversal. I was talking about that one in the pre-market. Look at this reversal, Ryan. Look at this left chart on my left-hand side.
Yeah, that's like the opposite of PayPal.
Yeah. Red to green and looking good here. NRG, I do like it. It has a significant dividend. I actually might take that.
I love that it's trying to take out 40. We had a high the other day. What was this? The 2nd of February. We had a high right at 39.94, which this took out. Now it just took out 40. Giddy up on NRG.
Yeah, Baidu back to VWAP there too. If you want to think about one that I like today. Some days I'm on, some days I'm off. Today I feel like I'm on, and I'm looking for Baidu maybe to catch this bid here right into that trend line. Look how the trend line comes into it. Right there in the middle. Boom. Right there. It comes right towards the trend line. So now you at least know where your risk is. And that's the important part of always taking trades. Understanding risk so that if you do get the trade to go against you, you know what you paid in the trade before you even take it. AAL looking strong. I'm looking for a dip one more time towards that 1690s to get long on AAL, and that would be another swing trade for the day. But we'll see what happens here. There's a lot of trades out there that I'm liking, so we'll see. Beyond Meat looks like it's trying to reverse. Well, I don't know. What are they going to do? They're going to come out with real meat?
Oh man, yeah, I can't help it. Just not a believer in Beyond Meat at all.
Yeah,
my own personal bias. My own personal
bias. Fake dead meat. No, fake meat, fake profits, dude. Fake meat, fake profits, right? Isn't that the way it works? No, I just think it's inflationary environment where you got to be careful. Look at that pop up. Let's do it. Let's go. DraftKings looking great for us too. Where did we see that reversal into? Right into the levels we were looking at. So that's perfect. That's why I didn't stutter there in the buy. I could have been like, whoa. Oh, deer in the headlights. It just pulled back towards my level. But that was my level, right? I said I'd buy if it got to there. I didn't want to be too subjective there. Bought, understood the risk. Where's the risk? That's where I'm going to take it. Let's size into it here. Since we had a little range, we had 2230s to 2220s. We got in a slight above the 30s. So instead of me putting, let's say, 28s out on that next order, I put it down all the way to the bottom of where I would buy, which is that the 2220s, and I literally got a fill right there.
Looks like we are bouncing here. The entire market looks like it's bouncing. PayPal putting in a little bit of a bounce. Square bouncing more ferociously than PayPal. And Tyson continuing. Tyson just no chill, no stop from the opening of the market. Real quick, we guys are talking about, fake meat, dead meat, Beyond Meat, whatever. I will say I've recently discovered an unbelievable snack that I will share with you folks. I've mentioned it a number of times before. I love putting wild blueberries in my smoothie in the morning. Wild blueberries are frozen. Wild blueberries are superfoods. They're loaded with antioxidants. They're delicious. They're more flavorful than regular blueberries. I discovered a nice little substitute for a dessert. Put a little bit of plain Greek yogurt in a bowl, put some thawed wild blueberries in it, a little bit of honey, and fold that in and mix it up. Oh my God, you wouldn't believe how good that is. It's actually really healthy too. So
that's like my breakfast, dude.
Yeah, man, it's good. Breakfast snack, it's real good.
Yeah, I'm a big Greek yogurt kind of guy. So yeah, you throw some clusters in there, some honey, you're good, dude. Throw some strawberries, blueberries, whatever you want, any fruit, really. All right, guys, we got over 730 people watching here. I need to go ahead and do a little bit of a push. Like, we have to be pre-market prep today. That's my goal every day, right? We can't let those guys win. They got 400 likes. We're at 258. Can we get some likes, guys? Come on, smash on up, guys. If you guys do so, I will give you a little bit of DJ Mitch in the house. Can we get it? You guys smash that like button. Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys, looking for some pullback buy opportunities here. Taking a look at the SPY to see what's going on in the SPY. Did we find a bottom there? Looks like we started chopping around there. If you take a look at the 1 hour, we held that 448.40 that I literally drew when we started heading down there. That's going to be the level I'd be watching for the downside to continue. But if we get back above 450s, look for a continued push. I'd actually like this look here. Could add to that DraftKings and take a full-size position here, but I'm just going to hold off and look for the trade to keep working. We need to hold off on risk at first when we start getting these swing trades on, and then we'll be looking to take bigger and bigger swing trades as we start seeing the trend come back into our strategy.
Mitch, we're getting a night scope request in the chat, my man.
Night scope? So you need some RoboCop? I can show you RoboCop.
Evidently.
Can't blame you if you're looking for some RoboCop out there. Let's go to the 6 charts here. So DraftKings, you guys can see the top 3 that we were looking at there. I got another alert for Airbnb, so that shows me that that's doing well there. I don't have to stress too much about that. We could take a look here at the bottom, looking at, I'll put CCL as that one's been working so well. Look at that Carnival VWAP bounce at 2075. Look, that one's looking great there. So we wanted to take a look at what was the stock again? I got distracted
Night
there.
scope KS.
KSS.
Yeah, hold on. I
KSCP.
forgot you the ticker. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, KSCP. I got you.
KSCP.
All right. So looking at the daily chart on this one, just be careful. If it breaks that low of 822s, you could see a hard crack. This is the one that I definitely tell you that you have to learn how to know how to read price action, because this is going to move so fast on you that you got to be careful. Remember, this is a $9 stock. When you got a $9 stock, even let's say a 10 or a 30 or 40 cent move is massive in percentage wise. So you have to be careful with how you get in here and making sure that you're understanding where your out points are more than even your reward on this one. I would make sure that I'd have an ultimate out. What do I mean by ultimate out is always know, and I'm going to show you guys, always know right here. Let's say if I was taking this trade, KSCP, and I was going to go long right here off the VWAP or off that yellow line, right? And if I'm going to go long here, I'm going to probably set my risk down towards this low of the day. So like this is my 875 risk down towards here. But this area right here is what I call the ultimate risk area. What does ultimate risk mean? That no matter what, if for some reason the stock would just tank on me and I have no chance in catching it, I am getting out in that red zone. Even if I have to mark it out, I'm not taking the risk of this trade going against me. I think that's how you got to be viewing these types of trades. You set yourself a risk, but also set yourself an ultimate risk. If that number shows up, you know how sometimes you have a little bit of subjectiveness because you're seeing the wick go through, but you're not seeing shares selling. This is that level that I don't care about subjectiveness anymore. If it hits that, I'm out and I'm just taking my trade out of there. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for us today. I hope you guys enjoyed that last little trade talk there on KSCP. We'll keep trading here. Like always, Ryan and I will see you guys tomorrow. Up next, you guys got some futures talk to get into with Spencer Israel. So if you guys want to check that on out, just stick right here on Benzinga's YouTube. And of course, Ryan, we'll see you a little bit later in the week. We'll see how these trades kind of work out. I'm still in DraftKings and Airbnb. Potentially American Airlines. I'll let you guys know. Ryan's taking some Square. We tried to give you guys PayPal. Important.
And I'm still long that, by the way. We're swinging that. We're swinging that.
We'll see how this works out. Like always, guys, we're going to keep battling for you guys. Do me the favor, though. Hit that like if you appreciated us doing what we did today absolutely for free. Until next time, guys, we'll see you right here on Benzinga Live. Let's go, guys. Who got the chicken dinner today?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.